Hi, welcome to another edition of Eating Sharp with Lynn Sharp. If you remember my video number 28, it was a pumpkin cake, but I showed you some shortcuts and some things to make it healthier. Well, this time I'm going to show you my twist. It's not as healthy, but it comes out tasting excellent. And so I'm putting my little secret ingredients in it and my twist to it. So what you want to do is first you want to grease and flour a 9 by 13 pan. Have that set ready to go. And then go ahead and turn your oven at about 350 so that can heat up while you're mixing your ingredients. The first thing I have in here is a half a cup of shortening. And to this shortening, I'm going to add my eggs, 2 eggs. Cream those together. About like that. Get this to stand up here. Just about like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my pumpkin mix, and it already has all the spices in it. If you don't want to buy the pumpkin mix that has all the spices in it, then go ahead and add your pumpkin spice like you would be doing for a pie, and that will come out just fine. So this is a cup of pureed pumpkin. I got it out of the can, and if you're worried about what to do with the extra pumpkin that you'll have, go ahead and save it in a container like this in the fridge. And this will last a couple weeks in your fridge, and what you can do with that is then go ahead and make pumpkin cookies with it. So then you want to add 1 can of sweet and condensed milk. Other recipes ask for evaporated milk and sugar, and I think that this is going to be a better, richer tasting cake adding the sweet and condensed milk and not all that extra milk and sugar. But I do have a secret ingredient that I like to add at the end of this, and I'll show you what that is. So we'll go ahead and blend this up together. What you'll see while you're doing this is that the shortening will start to break down and blend through. You won't see any clumps, little tiny clumps of shortening inside your mixture. It'll start to smooth out. Okay, just about like that. So all you want to do is get it mixed together. You have a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of baking soda here. You can go ahead and add that, and you can go ahead and add your flour. It's 2 cups of flour. You want to put this on low when you go to mix it, so you don't get flour all through your kitchen and all in your face. Although it might convince people you made this at home if you did that. And then you can go ahead and turn it up once the flour is mixed in. Now you can add nuts to this, raisins to this, chocolate chips can go on here. But what I like to do is I like to make a cream cheese frosting to put on it. Now if you notice, my cake mixture is just a little thick. Here's my secret ingredient. I add probably about a 1/4 cup of milk and another egg to it. What this is going to do is it's going to give it a little bit extra moisture, and the egg is going to get it a little more lift. And it's okay to add it in the end. You just want to make sure it's well blended. You want to make sure it's all well blended. You don't want any lumps in this. And let me tell you, adding, it just turned off here. Adding the sweetened condensed milk really cuts down on your whipping time because you don't have to blend the sugar until it's smooth. So that's a plus with it. Okay. Plus it'll give you a nice richer flavor. So then we're going to go ahead and put it in our 9 by 13 pan and see how it's more like a cake batter. That's what we want. And adding that extra egg and that little bit of milk is how we obtained that cake-like batter. Okay? So get this all in here. I just have a tiny spatula. I don't know why I have the tiny one out and not the big one today, but you know, life goes on. Okay, set that aside. Go ahead and smooth it into your pan as evenly as you can. Like this, pushing it right up to the corners so your corners have the cake mix in it. And don't worry about hitting that pan like that. It's delicious. You didn't put enough air into the cake, like a sponge cake or not. That's tasty stuff. Okay, so 375 oven, excuse me, 350 degree oven. If your oven is running a little cooler, you might want to bump it up 25 degrees. Mine runs just a little cooler, so I'm going to run it at 375. But if your oven's running at good even temp, put it at 350 for about 25 to 35 minutes. And so it's going to go right in this oven, right about just below middle rack, and we'll let that bake. And you guys take a break. I'm going to have this recipe up on my website in the next few days, and it will also pair with the recipe 28, the regular, more healthy side of the pumpkin cake. It uses some applesauce instead of oil, and it's just a little different than this recipe, and I think you'll get a kick out of making both of them. So take a break, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you the finished cake product. We'll make some cream cheese frosting to go on top. I like to put a little cinnamon and nutmeg into that, and a little milk and sugar and the cream cheese, and it really makes the cake a decadent cake for your family and friends. It's kind of like a post-holiday. You're done with the holidays and you still got that craving, but you're tired of pie. This is kind of the recipes that I'm looking into today. So until we get the cake out of the oven, take a break, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. I've got the cake out of the oven. You can see it's nice and golden on top. It's still a little too hot to frost. So I have another one here, and yes, I cut the center out of it because I'm going to make 1/2 chocolate chip and 1/2 cinnamon. And I wanted to taste it too. I'm a little crazy that way. But before I do that, for Christmas, friends of mine gave me this little powdered drink mix. And it's called Hot Wassail. And I don't know what's in it, but you add it to hot water, and it tastes just like homemade apple cider. I mean, homemade apple cider, where you've added the spices and stuff. It's really, really good. Okay, before I get started, I heated up some milk because I want the milk to help break down not only the powdered sugar, but it needs to help break down the cream cheese. And I have 1 package of 8-ounce cream cheese per cake. And I'm going to do these separately. So what I'll do is I'll start creaming the cream cheese. what I did with this is I let it sit out, the cream cheese sit out at room temperature the whole while I was baking and chilling one of the cakes. So next we'll put in some powdered sugar. And I don't measure my powdered sugar. I just put it in until it looks about right. And that's probably 2/3 of that package of powdered sugar. And we'll do this on low. Again, you don't want that powdered sugar to come flying up in your face. And this will get crumbly because you haven't added any of the hot milk to help melt the two ingredients together. Okay, there is one thing I forgot to get, and that was vanilla. It's always nice to put vanilla in there. So I have it here, and I like just to put, about a teaspoon or so. I just squirt some in till it looks good, actually. It won't discolor your frosting at all. It's really taxing the beaters here. So now would be the time that I go ahead and get the cream cheese off the beater. Not going to all come off of there. That'll work for right now. Looks a little messy, but let me tell you, it'll all come together. So we want to just add a little bit of this hot milk at a time. You don't want to add a whole lot. You're just looking to add enough to incorporate the powdered sugar with the cream cheese, but still get it smooth enough that you can spread it on your cake and not rip the top off. And I'm about halfway there. As you can see, it's coming off the mixer better, but it's still a little firm. So we're going to add just a little bit more of that milk. Like I say, it's hot. You don't want to add the cold milk. It's about the only thing I use my microwave for, is to heat things up. And I think that's about good right there. Woo! Got it going everywhere now. Okay, so we'll set this down, get cleaned up a little bit. We'll start with the cold one because the hot one just won't work. And like I say, on the hot one, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put the cinnamon and the nutmeg right into the cream cheese. But for this one, I'm going to put chocolate chips on half of this and the nutmeg and cinnamon on the other half. Now you want to be a little generous with this frosting. It's okay if it drips down in the middle, because what's that going to do? It's going to keep your cake nice and moist. Just like that. So let's go ahead and put the cinnamon right in here. Now that I've got, you know what, let's put a little bit more on this side. One more spoonful. And see the cake through it. And I don't really want to see the cake through the frosting. Okay? So I've got it like that. Okay? Looks delicious. Now we'll put just a little cinnamon in here. You can use the sprinkle side. Just about like that. You know, just a couple pinches. About all you need. And you need less of the nutmeg. You don't want to overpower it with your nutmeg, So I'm going to go ahead and give it just 1 pinch of nutmeg. Just like that. I'm going to go back in and blend that through just enough to get it into the cream cheese. Like that. Now you can add the nuts on top of here. You can add, a lot of different things on top of this frosting, or underneath the frosting, as a matter of fact, to kind of surprise your guests who you serve that to. So we're going to put that right on. If you have a little extra frosting, that's okay. It goes great with graham crackers. It'll go great with the cookies that we're making up. So you don't have to use it all up. And I do have a little bit there left. Let me grab the chocolate chips so we can finish. Here are the chocolate chips. I'm just going to sprinkle some on to make it festive. We're going to call this reindeer poop. Nope, 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 nope. You can't have that chocolate chip. The girls are going after the chocolate chips that I dropped on the floor. Chocolate's not good for dogs, so I don't let them have it. Of course, they want it, but they're not getting it. We'll show you them in another video if I haven't showed you already. Just like that, you can press them down just a little bit to make sure they're secure in there. And then if you want to also, you could do a little layer of chocolate chips on this side. Really fancy it up for everybody. But not everybody likes chocolate chips. And so that's why I do some with, some without. I try to make it pleasurable for everybody that I know. And then here you have it. You have your split pumpkin cake. Made a little twist, my little twist onto my family's recipe. So I hope this helps your craving for some more sweet stuff, and you're sick of the pumpkin pie, and I hope this brings joy to you and your family in the years to come. This is Lynn Sharp with Eating Sharp and Eat Well. And remember, it's all about the food. Bye-bye.